Welcome guys to another episode of MarkCanMunch, healthy edition, asterisks. So today what I'm actually having for my dinner is essentially noodles with Hosen duck sauce through it. There's a lot of vegetables in here with it being peppers and also onions as well as mushrooms. We also have chicken as well through it as well, so it's almost like a chicken stir fry, as you can see. I'll throw up the calories and macros on screen. I'm starving today. So, similar to the previous video, this is kind of going to like a little bit of more chatting, more laid back, just kind of give you like an insight into the health and fitness world a little bit and my own perspective on it, as well as, you know, just getting through this fucking diet because like I want to get to March. I want to get this diet through so we can not necessarily enjoy food again, because I do enjoy the diet food that I eat, like things like this, because this is one of the staples in my diet. But definitely like just having that freedom to, you know, do some fun content for the channel, or, you know, if I fancy a Burger King on a Saturday night, go get a Burger King, as I love my burgers, as you guys know, or, you know, having our crack at that 24-inch pizza, stuff like that. So we'll get there. But so far, diet update, it's going well, things are dropping steadily, but I do have a trip to Berlin coming up, which is a stag do, which is a bit unfortunate given the time that it's like smack bang in the middle of my diet. Apologies if you can hear some banging in the background as well, as Julie's grandkids are staying in at the moment, so there's a lot of banging going on in the other room. But yeah, so trip to Berlin, it's going to interrupt the diet. Hopefully we don't fuck it, so I will be able to come back, not much damage has been done over the 4 days, and then we can continue on with the diet from there on out. So my plan for Berlin is really, obviously there's going to be alcohol involved, it's a stag do. I will stick to gin and tonics, vodka, soda water, limes, stay off the shots, things like that, make sure I'm hydrating as much as I can in between drinks, maybe even have like one drink, one water, or like I said, stick to the vodka, slimline tonics, vodka, soda water, limes, things like that, just so I'm constantly getting some form of liquid hydration in. In terms of eating, I know Berlin in particular has some really nice deli places, so I'll probably look for those during the day. Probably only going to be eating like twice a day, if that, or one big meal. And realistically, I'm looking at things like Subway, peri-peri chicken places like Nando's, or the delis is really my options. I'm going to stay the fuck away from fried food, is basically the game plan. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, bon appetit. So, like I said, guys, this is an absolute staple in my diet, and the thing about it is, you know, people overcomplicate dieting so much all the time. I'm noticing this recently, especially with my 8-week challenge that I've recently just launched. People will overcomplicate the calorie counting, people will make excuses, people will just, in general, avoid the actual tracking of the macros and the calories. When really you have to think about it from the lens of, it's all data, right? So yes, tracking can be a pain in the arse, especially if you're not used to it. But if you enjoy the meals, if you can find meals that you enjoy eating while you diet, and you can use a food scale to weigh them out once, then by all means, that's you already like weighed those meals out. They'll be saved into your MyFitnessPal app or whatever app you use to track calories. In which case you can just carry it over to the next day. And one of my diet hacks personally is I'll buy like 1 kilo, 2 kilos of chicken from the supermarket. Spend 15, 20 minutes, even if that, sometimes it means like 10 minutes, cutting it up into 200 grams worth of like chunks, like the chicken breast. Then I'll put it into freezer bags, tie those bags up, put them in the freezer. That way, through the week, you can come in, you can grab a bag out of the freezer, you know without even weighing it or anything that there's 200 grams in that for the full week. It's all about planning at the end of the day. You have to be prepared. If you're not prepared, what's the saying again? You fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that goes with everything in life, not just dieting, not just calorie counting. But that being said, like, people still seem to almost want to convince themselves that it's overcomplicated to track calories, and it's not within their ability to do so. I think that's why coaching is so important these days, like good coaching. First of all, and I'm just going to say it, the gravy train of the COVID era is over now. I wasn't a personal trainer during COVID, but I have spoken to trainers, mentors that were working during that time, and they've all said the same thing, that like it was easy as fuck to get sales. All you had to do was post something on Instagram and you'd get like 3, 4, 5 people instantly like interested, signing up, and people were charging stupid prices. So there was a lot of bad coaches, good coaches, and just a lot of goodwill just being lost throughout COVID, purely because people were arseholes, if I'm being honest. People got greedy. There would be people that would sign up with a coach, do like a 12-week diet plan, think, right, I've got this, I know how to train people. Oh, I forgot Kai Pai was in here with me. Hi, Kai. They would sign up with a coach, they would do a 12-week plan, then they would essentially take that coach's material. Kai, not the camera, not the camera. Then once they had the material, they'd be like, right, I got this, I know how to do this. And they would just go ahead and basically call themselves an online coach and charge people stupid money to make easy money during COVID. And people would fall for it because, you know, it's unregulated. So there's been a lot of goodwill and a lot of trust broken in the fitness industry. So it's so much harder these days for people like me, and this is part of the reason why I even started this channel, to showcase my authenticity and my willingness to provide a great fucking service and care about my reputation enough that I want everyone I work with to succeed. I want to take them through a process of beginning, middle and end. And I never want to work with someone forever. My goal is always to get someone to that point where they can track their calories, they do feel confident with their life, they can have that healthy lifestyle balance. And what I'm finding in doing so and learning so much about it is it's majority of it is all mindset. It is all mindset. It's mind over matter. So what ends up happening in these cases is people begin to listen to their inner critic. And their inner critic gets validated each time that person listens to them or listens to it. And the inner critic is telling them that tracking calories is too hard, I can't do this, it's overwhelming, etc, etc, etc. So you really need a system in place. Small plug, which I have. Shout out to Built to Coach. You really need a small system in place in order to break down those barriers and build up their conviction. And that takes time. Like, that really does take time. So if that is your ultimate goal with a client, for talking sake, for any personal trainers watching this, then you have to be able to have a good relationship and a good fucking service in order to retain the client long enough for them to make that change, because it doesn't happen overnight. It certainly doesn't happen in a couple of months. But there's things that can be put in place in order to set them on that path and make it a little bit easier. But getting back to the whole calorie counting thing, is people will overcomplicate the fuck out of this. Like, this is literally veggies, noodles, some chicken and some sauce. Like, it's a really fucking plain Jane meal. It hits the spot. Like, you've got your carbs, a little bit of fat through the noodles, your veggies, the Hosen duck sauce is, you know, got some sugar in it and got some fat in it as well. So there's more fat and of course protein, the chicken. It's actually one of my favourite dinners because it's so tasty. It almost tastes like a a fake away, almost like a chow mein from Chinese. Absolutely lovely. And it's just, again, you know, people hear the word protein and it's flung about far too much. And people, my own clients included, see the word protein on a box and just think, oh, protein cereal, I'll lift that. When you actually read the label and say, for talking sake, I don't know, it's like protein cornflakes or something like that. If you lift the normal cornflakes and the protein cornflakes and actually compare a portion, you'll find that the protein cornflakes is really, realistically, like per portion, it's like an extra 2 grams of protein. It's literally fuck all. And it's probably an extra like pound or two dearer than the normal cornflakes, for talking sake. So all the kind of like protein branded stuff, most of it, not all of it, but most of it is a pile of shite. So when people say, stick to whole foods, and you know, talking about this, I think I'm going to do my next video on this and the overcomplications of the fitness industry and how they try to confuse people, almost on purpose. In fact, you know, it is on purpose, because it does piss me off, to be honest. It really does piss me off, because again, it's all misdirection. It's almost as if they want people intentionally stuck, intentionally confused, so they can't do it themselves. And then people with limited knowledge in health and fitness can then capitalise on that by taking advantage of people's misinformation, people being ill-informed, and appearing smarter when they're really dumb as fuck. Says the guy trying dumb challenges, right? But I just have this sense of morality about me that, like, not many people seem to have, apparently, these days. Whereas, like, if I see a wrongdoing or something I perceive to be wrong, then I want to call that shit out and I want justice. But we live in a world where it doesn't work that way all the time. And it sucks, because now I'm kind of like, unfortunately, at the point where, as I said earlier in the video, I need to work a lot harder to build that authority and to build that trust, partially through these videos of people getting to know my personality, so they can see that I'm not just a fucking cowboy who just wants to take their money, and they can see where my mindset lies, to see how I operate, see how I act. And you know, it's because of all these cowboys during the COVID era that totally destroyed online coaching. And this is partially why I think PTing, one-to-one coaching, in-person coaching will make a resurgence in the next, I don't know, if I was going to take a guess, maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe sooner. Because we've got the whole AI thing coming up. That's another topic for another day. But, and I have plenty to say on that, believe me. But there's still going to be that humane aspect. And, well, I think in a world of TikTok, in a world of YouTube Shorts, and a world of Instagram sort of like clicks and reels, and where the entire point is to try and clickbait and drive emotion into users in order to get them to watch the video within the first 3 seconds, there's a bit of authenticity lost each time people engage and stuff like that. So it's a fucking bad day when being authentic, being yourself, being genuine, having an opinion, being human, it stands out from the crowd. Like, that is a fucking bad day. If anyone has ever seen the Terminator movies, the whole, this is just touching on AI, and the only thing I want to say about it, the whole thing about Skynet is its one prerogative is to protect the world from danger. And when you think about it, it probably got access to the internet, went online, took one look at humanity and human history and went, fuck them, get them to fuck, and then just totally wiped them out. I can see why AI would come to that conclusion. Jesus, can you imagine what AI was turned on right now, like Skynet status, and it went on and it's seen all of the shit that's on TikTok and everything else that's happening in the world as well. An AI would be like, right, if I'm supposed to protect the world, let's get these humans to fuck. Crazy, man, crazy. Like I said, completely different topic for a completely different video. But dialing it back to dieting, just as I'm finishing off this here. Don't overcomplicate it. Do not track your veggies. Track your fruits though. I think some people, think, oh, I'll have a banana, that's healthy. I'm not saying it's not healthy, but there's roughly between 80 to 100 calories in a banana, right? Give or take 20 grams of carbs. That just doesn't disappear into thin air just because it's healthy. So, it's things to consider like that. Sometimes people are self-sabotaging without realising it. Now, I've never known anyone to get fat on bananas, to be fair. However, it's just when you're eating everything else in conjunction, that banana could be the little bit that pushes you over the edge. So when you step on the scale the next morning, you're still overweight or you haven't lost anything for that week. So you need to be mindful about everything, and which is why it brings me back to tracking calories is so important, because it's just data. You have the data, you have the experience. The more data you have, the more you can take a look at it from a logistical standpoint and be like, right, XYZ worked for me, XYZ didn't work for me, so going forward I'm going to do XYZ or ABC, if you will. But yeah, that's my mini rant over, and that is my last meal of the day done. So now I'm going to sink a Coke Zero. I think it's a Coke Zero, but yeah. Get some gas in my belly, sink a Coke Zero, go to bed, weigh myself, as tomorrow it is movie night. Don't know what I'm going to go see yet, but I heard the new 28 Years Later movie is meant to be pretty good. I wasn't really a fan of the first one, so, well, I was a fan of 28 Weeks Later. I thought that was good. I was a fan of 28 months, 28 Days Later. So 28 Days Later was class, 28 Weeks Later, was it? Was it months? Can't remember what the sequel was called. But yeah, I think it was 28 Weeks Later. That was class as well, with Begbie in it. And the 28 Years Later, I felt as if it was just bloated with shite. Although there was a decent movie underneath it. I just felt there was a lot of unnecessary crap, like the giant alphas with fucking, tree trunks. So I just felt that was like unnecessary, like bad comedy. It had no place in the horror film, in my opinion. But apparently, like, this one is meant to be decent, so I guess I'll maybe give it a go. We'll see what else is on. I'm not too sure what's on, but absolutely buzzing for Marvel's Avengers and Supergirl. As you guys know, I love my Superman. So, yeah, buzzing for the summer holidays, but or the movie blockbusters. But we'll go see a movie tomorrow, chill out. I've got a little bit of training to do tomorrow. That's the last of the week, push session. And once that's complete, that is everything done. And hopefully, by the end of this week, I'll have dropped another kilo or so. And we'll be well on the way to almost getting halfway through this diet now that I think about the timeline. So by the time I upload this video, we'll be almost halfway. So we're getting there, guys. So hang in there with me. Hang into my little rants, hang into my talks. Maybe these are better than actually just watch me do like silly challenges. But, I thought it's nice to do sort of like almost like a mini series of this while I'm dieting, where I'm just giving my opinion on health and fitness stuff. If there's any topics though that you would like me to talk about in particular, or you would like my opinion on, drop it in the comments, drop me a DM, like and subscribe to this channel, MarkCanMunch. Until the next time, keep on munching. And if you're on a diet like me, track those calories, but keep munching, but track the munch.